Greetings here from David Gillespie in South Carolina. This is the latest gravestone that I've just finished carving with chisel and mallet. So if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel if you like 18th century gravestones. If you're new here to our channel, I've been carving slate gravestones with chisel and mallet since 2001. And today I have the newest example of a piece of my work. This is actually a stone for a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine back in middle school days. And his name was Jason Medlin, and he died of COVID back in 2020. When I was a teenager, we would go down to Charleston on vacations, and I would go to the cemeteries down there and see stones from the 1720s, 30s, 40s that were just as crisp and sharp as the day they were carved, and it made me wonder how on earth did they accomplish that? Now the answer is they carved it in slate, which is why I carve slate today. But the most interesting of all the gravestones in Charleston as a kid that I would see would be the stones that were portrait stones. They're the ones that captivated my fascination more than any other type. And so for that reason, I enjoy greatly carving portrait stones. So back in 2014, in order for me to learn how to better carve a portrait in stone, I thought it would be best, thanks to Renee's advice, to learn how to draw a face better first. So I thought, well, why not try to learn how to paint a miniature portrait first to learn how to better render a face or a portrait on a two-dimensional surface. And so this is one that I've painted, I don't know if you can see it lately, but this one's in the last couple, 3 or 4 years. So this is a portrait that I painted in miniature of our friend Cheryl Childress. And so Cheryl, if you're watching, we send our very best. So there's a strong suggestion and strong opinion that many of the original 18th century portrait stones were carved from a miniature portrait likeness, because if the person is deceased, they can't sit for a portrait while you carve it. So these little paintings would be portable and could have been sent in the post. I think when I was in about the 7th grade, Jason came into the gymnasium at Dagisville Middle School, elementary school, and that's where I first met Jason. And we loved to trade baseball cards together, even up until within a few months of when he died. We were still going to baseball card shows and trading baseball cards. So I'm glad that we have those memories to look back on. So this is a picture I had of him with a baseball cap on. And just to go a little bit over the stone here, in the portrait you can see he's got the ball cap on. And I tried to show the stitches in the cap, the brim, as well as the top where the pieces are sewn together. And then also in his portrait, I wanted to show his zipper of his windbreaker that he had on there. So I try to show the zipper as it comes up his windbreaker, and then also the top of his t-shirt with the elastic there. I tried to show the elastic band and little things. So it's you know, about 6 inches tall, the portrait. It's a circle, and the 18th century style portraits would have had like an OG border around it. So this one's a little more of a modern concept. It's not exactly an 18th century concept, so to speak. So as we go down the stone here, I've carved Jason's name in my style. I drew each letter with a pencil and carved it out with a chisel and mallet only. And so Jason Harold Medlin, November 30th, 1976 was his birth date. And again, I like to put the little R, November 30th, the little abbreviations at the top there I like to show. And then he died December 18th of 2020, like I said, of COVID. And I was actually on the phone with him the day that he died, and I had no idea he was in as bad a shape as he was. So, a big man with a big heart for Christ, loving son and brother. And he truly was one who loved Christ. He, as a very young kid, he exhibited to me that he had a lot of self-control. When bullies and things would try to pick on us at times, he was very strong and he didn't cave in to that kind of stuff, and he had an extreme amount of self-control and resilience, and I admired him for that. And then down at the bottom I signed my name. So I carved a little incised line around the edge just to kind of set it apart, and I like doing that on stones. I think something that simple can make a profound effect visually over the whole. And the top shape is what I call a gentle curve. It's not just for style, but when the rainwater hits the top, it helps it to roll so that it doesn't just sit there and cause the stone to delaminate or to spall or anything like that. So even though this seems like part of the effect of it, it actually has a function as well. So I'd like to thank Jason's mother, Ruth, and Jason's family for allowing me the privilege to carve a stone for Jason. And it'll be installed here locally, and I hope to have some video of it in this video of it when it's installed also. Okay, so we're back in the shop, and I wanted to get back in here to show you the stone in a different light. This is the light that I carved it in. All stones are carved in some form of a relief light, which goes to our mirror trick video. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a card in the top if I can figure out how to do it. So otherwise, you can see it's about a maybe 8 to 10 degree angle here that I'm using to create the light and shadows for my carving. So if you view it in the middle of the daylight with the sun coming at this angle, it's going to wash out the shadows. But Lord willing, there'll be 2 times of the day where the sun will come across this stone at this angle that we're talking about, maybe 8 to 10 degree angle, and give those shadows that you'll be able to see and appreciate more of the third dimension. So up on the screen now, I'll pop up a few pictures of gravestone portraits that are in Charleston, South Carolina, that I've seen dating back to the late 30s and into the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And so these would have been probably carved from portrait miniatures or oil paintings or even sketches on paper that would have been used for the carver to get as close a likeness as they could. Some of the originals are pretty good, some of them are less than good, but the best part about the original 18th century portraits in stone is that you get to see what type of dress they wore, what type of outfits for the men with the buttonholes. I'll pop up John Stanyarn's here on the screen now to show you his buttons and buttonholes and his hair. And for the ladies, their dresses, some like Mary Owen, I'll pop up her picture now to show you. She was a milliner, which means a hat maker, and of course in her portrait on her gravestone in 1750 or 49, I can't remember, but it shows one of her hats that she wore, one of her bonnets, so it's really special. Also, I would like to thank my friend Mrs. Donna Weaver up in Vivy, Indiana. She is an amazing artist, and she actually sculpts these wax portraits of 18th century figures. And so I would like to thank Donna because I used her portrait of General Daniel Morgan, to help me to see better how to navigate through passages like the eyes and things. Now, you can see plainly that my work isn't of her caliber, but it helped me to be able to see how she pulled off some foreshortening things and things like that, especially in the brim of the cap, like in the points on his collar here. So this is a wax portrait that Donna made for me. She actually put my name on it here, and I can't tell you how thrilled I was to get it back in 2011, and how thrilled I am to still own it. And so we own a couple of Donna's wax portraits, and if you're interested to get one, I'll leave a link in the description below for her website, as well as her work up at the Musée des Vignages up in Vevey, Indiana also. So thanks, Miss Donna. And if you don't have one of Donna's wax portraits, there's a good chance you may own one of her portraits in your pocket. So if you'll search through your change in your pockets and find the Jefferson nickel, where Jefferson is facing straight out, that was one of her sculptures for the U.S. Mint. And if you'll pull out your jeweler's loupe and look at the bottom, I think it's the bottom right hand side, you'll see a teeny weeny little DW. It stands for Donna Weaver. So yes, she's quite talented. First of all, I'd like to thank the Lord for giving me the time and the ability to carve for a living. I'm very thankful and very blessed. Well, thank you guys for watching. This is a very special project, and I hope that the family gets to see this, and we thank you guys for giving me the privilege to be able to carve a stone for Jason. Thank y'all for watching.